important shark and ray area where there is enough information to support that we must protect to be effective in the conservation of sharks, rays, and chimeras around the world.
Research in South America, Atlantic waters, and in inland waters, it's on and off. We do not have a permanent incentives or programs for monitoring sharks and rays, so we need more people to get engaged, more students to get involved, so more data can be collected and even be updated.
We have 38 species of freshwater stingrays in South America, so it's a whole lineage of elasmobranchs totally adapt to freshwater ecosystems. So it's an incredible diversity, but the main challenge is the lack of information.
Of the Amazon area, we have sampled approximately 17 to 20% only.
We are running against the clock. We might losing species that we not even described it yet. ISRAS might help us to find the answers for saving those species.
It was alarming to see how fast the data get old. We really need people to continue the work that has been started.
Two areas that I had worked in the past, I had information about the entire reproductive cycle of a shark. Since the data has more than 20 years, I got in contact with fishermen from that region and the animal is just not there anymore. So it was really shocking. It really gives me this idea of urgency. So we really need to do something about those that today still have elasmobranchs.
During this workshop, we spent most of the time collecting data from the Caribbean to the South America to delineate areas important for sharks.
We didn't see the time flying. You spend all the day working very hard, talking to everyone, getting information from your colleagues and also from people outside the workshop. So we had to contact them a lot, phone calls and internet connections to gather all the information we needed to make a better proposal.
I'm João Braulio from the UFPA here in North Brazil.
And the Rio de Janeiro Marine Aquarium. Thanks for the invitation.
This is important because it can reveal the priority areas to put efforts for conservation on these species.
Ya una vez se tengan, poder direccionar algunos recursos para poder generar monitoreos de estas especies, poder conocer un poco más de estas áreas.
Well, this map's really very useful because it helps us to concentrate the effort. Putting this information on the maps can help us understand how can we protect them and how can we assess and work to develop like conservation strategies.
Nos puede también servir para generar instrumentos de manejo como áreas marinas protegidas que no dejan de ser una herramienta para la conservación y protección del ambiente y particularmente de estas especies.
CMS is not a convention to protect all the migratory species, or at least protect the ecosystem that they can live. But we have to fill an agreement. Species have to move between different regions to be considered important for the CMS. ISRA is a great tool that the parties can implement and use it for the content.
Nosotros trabajamos mucho con las comunidades, porque finalmente el usuario final del recurso es el pescador. Si tenemos herramientas gráficas, visuales, nos permite hacer conversaciones más informadas y establecer incluso acuerdos para un uso más adecuado de esos espacios.
Hicimos un ejercicio de incorporar todos estos registros que tenemos de pescadores deportivos, pescadores artesanales, ponerlos en una base de datos. Y eso nos va a permitir tener áreas mejor definidas en Uruguay y obviamente nos permitió también ver vacíos de información donde podamos hacer nuevas investigaciones.
Una de las áreas para mostrarse muy claramente son los océanos profundos. Esa zona del océano que está fuera de las jurisdicciones de los países, de las naciones, como un vacío de información muy importante.
Vení, compartir los datos, que vas a aprender tal vez otra forma de ver las cosas. Vine a aprender y me voy con mucha información de criterio de cómo mirar las cosas para transmitirlas, decirle a un gobernante o a alguien que haga manejo cómo y por qué.
Find all of the available data for the shark and race in your country. Try to get all of the published work ready, which can go from reports to articles to chapters. And you can also use pictures and traditional information and try to see as well how that can be related to the categories for the definition of ISRAS.
Ponha o peixe-serra no mapa.
Coloque os tubarões, as raias esquimeras no mapa.
Coloca tus rayas látigos en el mapa.
Pon las tiraviras en el mapa.
Coloquem as raias de água doce no mapa.
Pongamos los tiburones en el mapa.
Poné las sardas en el mapa.
Coloque o cação lanterna no mapa.
Poné tu tiburón angelito en el mapa.
Pon tu tiburón azul en el mapa.
Pongamos los cazones en el mapa.
Coloquem a raia viola no mapa.
Pon los tiburones en el mapa.
Pongamos a los tiburones y las rayas en el mapa.
Pon el gato pardo en el mapa.
Pon el chucho en el mapa.